the lost treasure of the Flor De la Mar. The Malacca Strait. A storm so violent it didn't just sink a ship. It buried the greatest single treasure haul in the history of seafaring. A treasure of gold, spices, and jewels so vast it could rewrite the GDP of a modern nation. The prize, the Flor De la Mar, flower of the sea. It was the prized possession of the Portuguese crown, and its disappearance remains the greatest maritime mystery, and the single greatest prize, still waiting at the bottom of the ocean. The Flor De la Mar was no ordinary vessel. It was a 400-ton behemoth, a giant of the sea, returning from the conquest of Malacca, the wealthiest port in the East Indies. Malacca wasn't just a trading post. It was the global hub for cloves, nutmeg, and silks, controlled by a powerful sultanate. The conquest in August 1511 was bloody, but the reward was unimaginable. The conquering admiral, Afonso de Albuquerque, spent weeks meticulously loading the ship. He didn't just load gold, he loaded symbols of power. A solid gold lion, a crown studded with thousands of rubies, and all the gold filigree from the Sultan's palace. The cargo was worth the equivalent of $2.5 billion in modern value. It was a portable treasury, a monument to Portugal's dominance. This wasn't merely plunder. It was the wealth of an entire defeated empire. In late November 1511, Albuquerque gave the fateful order to sail. He chose to return with the monsoon season approaching, a critical mistake. The most experienced pilots had warned him. They knew the Flor De la Mar was too unwieldy, a large cargo carrier meant for calm seas, not for battling the notoriously churning currents of the late season. The sheer weight of the 60 tons of gold, the cannons, and the heavy teak hull meant she wallowed. She didn't ride the waves. This was an error of ego, not navigation. Just 3 days out, near the northern tip of Sumatra, the storm hit. The eyewitness accounts speak of waves the size of buildings breaking over the main deck, washing cannons and crew into the Black Sea. The massive ship, heavy and slow, was simply too cumbersome. It was broken apart on a hidden reef, smashed by relentless waves against the sharp coral. Admiral Albuquerque, however, survived. He and a few dozen men managed to cling to a makeshift raft as the Flor De la Mar was torn apart, piece by agonizing piece. He watched, stranded for 2 days, as the single greatest accumulation of wealth ever assembled by his empire slipped beneath the waves. The treasure was not scattered. It was entombed. The admiral and most of the crew were saved, but the treasure vanished. The great search began almost immediately and continues to this day, fueling international disputes and attracting every major treasure hunter. The primary question is, did the treasure scatter or is it concentrated? Theory 1, the debris field. The most accepted theory is that the treasure remains near the original wreck site, split into multiple debris fields across the seabed. Its sheer volume makes it too large to miss, yet too spread out to easily recover. Teams operating in the 1980s claim to have found coral-encrusted timbers consistent with a wreck, but the gold eluded them. Theory 2, the conspiracy. A darker theory suggests the treasure was partially salvaged by Albuquerque's own men in the immediate aftermath, smuggled onto other ships, and hidden or divided among them before the admiral could claim it all. This theory gained traction due to several crew members later becoming inexplicably wealthy after surviving the wreck. Theory 3, the deep drift. A far more complex scenario, backed by recent sonar evidence, suggests the ship was actually swept south into the deep, turbulent waters, perhaps near the coast of Indonesia, far from where the initial search was centered. This would explain why the shallow, known reefs have yielded nothing of value. The Flor De la Mar is more than a sunken ship. It's a phantom promise, a bounty that could change the life of whoever finally locates it. Today, the treasure's precise location is claimed by both Portugal and Indonesia, causing diplomatic friction. But until a single glint of gold is officially recovered, it belongs only to the deep. It waits as a reminder of an empire's greed and a storm's uncompromising power. The $2.5 billion question. What do you think happened to the Flor De la Mar?